Here we are with our third week of the glorious War Rights Weekly podcast. We had a quite interesting podcast last week. That's all I'll say about that. But we have a couple people on to talk about contention, flag meta, and being able to see the ticket level if we get to that point. So let's go through and introduce everyone. First, we got McPhail.
Yeah, McPhail, part of Sussex Brigade. That's an A tier brigade, and then also part of FIP NC, which is an A tier regiment.
Thank you. Next, we have Zoo.
Hi, I am Zoo of the 5th Florida, and I'd just like to say about my brigade that if all the regimental leaders in that brigade are S tier, right, for Sussy. God bless them.
Next, we have Shade.
Hi, I'm Shade. I'm part of the 13th Georgia. Yeah.
And we have Killer.
Hi, it's me again.
And then we have Gamer.
Hi, I'm Gamer. I'm from Burnside's Ninth Corps, the best E tier company in the game.
Cornwallis is going to be pissed. Anyways, so again, we're going to be talking about contention as a whole, talk about it, comparing it to the other two game modes. Then we're going to go through the flag meta in game. And then if we still have time at that point, we're going to be talking about seeing the ticket level in game, if it's good or bad. So let's start with contention. What do we think about contention? Is it good, bad game mode, good addition? Anyone have thoughts on that?
I gotta say it's better than Conquest, and it's personally my new favorite mode. If we can get like a full server on it or like close to full, it's actually really fun to play.
Think it's better than skirmish?
Yeah, I mean I enjoy it more than skirmish. I feel like I've played a lot of skirmish though. Is my one thing. It gets repetitive at one point.
It's not better than skirmish.
I think it is.
It's interesting, but it's not better than skirmish. It's like the problem with conquest is like at least in skirmish, you know what's gonna happen. There's only certain things that the other team can do, whereas in contention, it's like it's just RNG. It all depends on if you're lucky enough to get the flag spawns or if you're not lucky enough to get the flag spawns.
Well, doesn't it fully depend on the map for skirmish then? I mean,
Well, yeah, but you already know what you're getting yourself into when you go into a skirmish map. You don't with contention.
I think that's kind of the beauty of it, though.
Yeah, that's the interesting part about
Positive
it.
for me, yeah.
I wonder if removing the closest two spawn points to each side spawn would make that game mode better and have the first point of contention be in the middle of the map.
That's what I think. I think that if contention didn't have the RNG of the flags, like if you always started with the middle two to start with, then it would be a better, like it just needs a little tweaking basically on how it works, and then I think it'd be really good.
yeah, the only bad experience I've ever really had with contention has been when all the spawns were on one side of the map and I couldn't get to them.
I don't know. I think that I personally enjoy Contention and Conquest more than Skirmish, both because it's new and because it utilizes like multiple maps put together for the most part. But I will say Skirmish is a very complete, well-rounded game mode that has the luxury of being in the rotation of War Bright since the very beginning, whereas Conquest and Contention are still relatively new game modes. And I think a lot of aspects about them are kind of flawed and need reworking, like the amount of time in the game, right? It probably should be more than 45 minutes. You know, the penalties for ticket bleed rate and for capturing a flag in contention. I feel like a lot of that stuff needs more reworking to make the game more enjoyable as a game mode.
That brings up one of my other like criticisms of contention, which to be fair, like it's still probably my top game mode at this moment. But yeah, like I think when you capture a flag, it shouldn't take them down like a complete morale stage. I think that's a little bit much because basically, if you lose one flag or two flags, you've basically lost.
What do you think instead? Like half a morale stage?
Maybe, I don't know. I think you'd almost have to just test it.
It would probably be better if it were like the equivalent of 50 or 100, well, like 100 outliners, right? Like just one like blanket ticket
That's
loss.
almost
out
the
of
entire
line.
morale stage. Almost like
100 out of lines. Sometimes in a whole like 45 minutes of an event, you have
Team
less
goes-
than 100 out
Oh,
of
that's
lines.
right. Sorry, yeah, maybe that's too much. 20 outliners. whatever.
That's more like
Just
it.
Same
a
difference.
fraction,
like-
a certain
Yeah,
percentage
you're
of
right.
your team pop.
You're right. My bad. Or
Contention.
100 informations, whatever.
After
Same difference.
7.5 minutes, you lose 100 out of life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like 2.5 mile stages sometimes. Yeah, it's rough. I'm like, take it back.
I
That's
won't,
that's
He wants
battle
the game
range,
to
yeah.
end immediately.
Yeah, easy adventure, in and out, 20 minutes.
I do think that Conquest got old though. Is my one thing.
they
I
haven't really touched it though, right? Since they released it fully.
yeah, no, it's been the same thing the entire time. It's just
Didn't
like
didn't they lower the bleed rate or something like that? I thought they tweaked it a little.
I know
I'm
they
not sure.
tweaked it after releasing. How recent are you talking though?
I just remember them tweaking it. I don't remember how
Oh.
recent.
Yeah, because I know they tweaked it shortly afterward because those games went by fast.
thing I hate about Conquest though is like the meta on Conquest is set for pretty much every map now, to the point where like the minute that somebody controls that first flag, if they're fast enough to get to it, you're pretty much like on some maps screwed from the get go. On some maps. I mean,
I
it's
mean, I
kind of
haven't
like the
played
same on
Contention in
Skirmish.
months. I wouldn't know, but
Yeah, I haven't played Contention in a long time, and I don't intend to. I'd rather
I mean,
play.
not Contention,
I mean,
Conquest.
Conquest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather play
Help!
Contention.
I'm getting. Okay, so which is which? Conquest is the one with
Three
the three
flags.
flags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Contention is
Contention is
6
the one where
flags.
the spawn. There's 6 of them, and then it just picks a random one, and that's the flag for the moment.
See, here's my thing with contention. I love the fact that it forces you into a conflict. Like you can't sit back and turtle. Strategy in itself is controversial among a lot of people.
As a ninth core member, that's actually surprising that you say that.
But
Wow.
I love
No
it.
shade.
I love it when it's necessary. Like if you're up 20 people and you're up on morale, there's no reason to turtle. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, it really forces you to be aggressive and really rewards you if you keep your flags up and in line. It really rewards you for that. So you just gotta play around your flag really.
I agree.
Turtling's a big part of the game, though. Like, what if you're in Grand Campaign and you have like, I don't know, 100 people left? Can't afford the casualties.
Well, yeah, but in Grand Campaign it's different because once you have a certain amount of people on your token, if you lose the battle, you get wiped out anyway.
Oh, really?
No matter if you lose a single guy or not. Yeah.
Well, maybe HTC.
But
I've not been in HGC for like a year now, so I wouldn't have a clue what the hell happens in HGC. It's been
so
that long.
Conquest as a whole, what do we think are some good strategies to be implemented when trying to win contention?
Con-
Or sorry,
okay, so
contention. If I
Contention.
mix them up,
Why are
I
they
would-
both C's?
Yeah.
Why are they both starting with C's?
Sorry, contention. What do we think?
I don't know. Really, just try not to bleed your troops too much. If you don't have a point and you're just bleeding a ton of troops and you don't think you can get it, there's no point. Like Killer was playing that a map that I played with him really well last week, and they had a point right in front of their arty, and it was like there's no point to go up and fight that. If you're gonna waste all those tickets to try to grab a point, you're gonna be down 2 stages off the bat. Kind of play it careful on some points, and other points be more aggressive.
You think if a point is like the example you just presented, right? It's going to be near impossible to take that point. Like, do you just sit back and kind of hide and wait for them to take it?
That's what we did.
Or do you
I mean,
just
we
shoot
literally
down from a distance?
we tried to stay away from them, not bleeding the tickets, but I mean, it didn't work well towards the end of the game. We did eventually end up losing. We lost what we already needed to lose, but it really just you need to sit back on some of those places and not go for them because it is going to be just hella like casualties if you go get murked by their arty.
Yeah, basically, if you just personally, if you see the opposing team have the flagpole, it's almost better to just sit back, right? And that way, you can just have a good, solid position. Sure, you might lose a morale stage, but at the same time, you gain the next point, and you have a solid position, solid defensive position to defend it from. So it's almost really better to just let them take that position and play off of other positions.
How many flagpoles are in contention? Because what?
Depends on the
I
map.
think it
But it's
depends on the map, yeah.
5 or 6. It's
Okay.
either
Yeah,
5 or
but
6.
if you can just like cut them off from the others, you know.
I feel like that'd be hard to do, especially with RNG. You'd split your forces up
Well,
massively
the
trying
thing,
to hit all the
the
points.
thing that you normally do is like, so if say the flag is, sorry, I'm making a cup of tea. I'm British. So if the flag is like close to their spawn, you pretty much just stay towards the mid of the map and have a shootout. Let them take the point, and then you start to like, because obviously it's 7.5 minutes until the thing fills up as a circle. So once they eventually get close to capping it, you then kind of spread out so that you can pretty much hit all the rest of the points before they can, so that you have a chance of capturing it and then reinforcing it and holding it, which works sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Don't know if the image I had in my head was properly portrayed. But you know what? We'll go with it.
I wonder how much. I hope the devs continue to work on contention, unlike conquest.
I hope they work in both. To be honest, they both need-
That's true. How
I don't
could
care about
Contention,
conquest.
But
contention's
how do you-
promising.
how do you
I will
fix
say-
conquest? Yeah, Zoom.
I think to fix conquest, I think the game needs to be longer. You need more tickets, right? And the bleed rate needs to be less punishing. That's probably the biggest thing. The one thing that probably make it a lot more enjoyable is the bleed rate is too punishing. You can play poorly, have 2 of the 3 flags, right, and win. Even if you take way more losses, out of line or whatever, it doesn't matter. There's more losses. As long as you hold a majority of the flags, majority of the time, you're fucked, right? Or the other team's fucked. So it doesn't matter. Like skill doesn't matter. If you win a skirmish, it doesn't matter. If you hold the majority of points, you win, and that matters too much. So that's how they fix conquest.
Yeah, because conquest kind of seems like it's a contention wannabe.
Isn't it the other way around?
I mean, contention, you're
Mhm.
running around fighting over 1 point. In conquest, if conquest feels like it should be more of a bigger scale battle where you're just fighting over the whole map, not rushing to get points, which is what contention is.
I mean, the thing with conquest is that everyone's always focused on pretty much 1 point.
I guess that's
Middle
fair.
point, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen conquest in a hot minute. I guess I
Because
haven't.
nobody
I'm
really likes to play it anymore. I think.
I guess I haven't been too active either, but
I just don't like the conquest meta. Like, it's just the same thing over and over. Like, of course, skirmish maps, you played them for like how 3-4 years, whatever, and it's the same thing. But then again, it's not, because you can do whatever you want to do. If you want to switch it up and play something a different way and decide to change whatever you want to do and go to a different side, do whatever, you can. Whereas in Conquest, you literally can't. You have to do exactly the same thing every time, or you're gonna lose every single
That's
time.
not that much different than skirmish, though. Where
Yeah, skirmish. If
Yeah.
you change up the strategy
same
too much,
place.
you're gonna just end up getting murked by the other strategy. I mean,
Well, no, but I just mean as an individual unit. Like, I can do whatever I want with my unit in skirmish as long as I don't die and lose too many tickets. Whereas in Conquest, if I'm not actively fighting for that middle point or whatever, and actively fighting to get it down, then we're gonna lose because of the ticket drain. That's the problem that I don't. That's the problem I have with Conquest, other than I do with Skirmish.
So you're saying it like forces you to play with the team strategy. Like if everyone's charging in, you got to go with them.
Yeah, like there's 3 possible positions that you can that you can go to, and that's it. Which is the A flag, B flag, or C flag. And if you're not fighting at any one of those flags, then you're not helping your team. And that's pretty much it with Conquest. They have these big, huge maps, but there's only 3 little spots you can fight in.
would you think adding more flagpoles, maybe like 2 more, would help with that?
that's too much to go after.
I just think they need to, like Zeus said, lower the ticket drain. Give people like, and instead of it being, because it's a casual ticket drain, isn't it? It's not just like when you die, you lose extra tickets. It's like every
It's
second
constant.
you're going, yeah. Even if they made it like instead of like every time you die, you lose like double the casualty count or whatever the hell you want to call it. You know, like you just lose extra tickets when you die, as like when each player dies, and not as like when just casually every second it goes down.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Or even have it where when you cap the point, like it doesn't immediately start to affect the drain. Like it takes like maybe you have to hold it for 5 minutes before it can start to actually drain the enemy tickets.
Yeah, like that's the problem with conquest is like as soon as they capture and they have 2 points, you don't really have time to sit and think because then all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
down one morale stage and then you're like everyone starts panicking and then it's just charging, then you're in last stand.
Yeah, that's always what's said. That's always what I say in the officer chat. Is people are like, "Oh, we need to regroup," and I'm like, "We can't regroup. Like, we don't have time to do it."
You
Like,
really don't know what's the problem.
yeah, I mean, you could lose a charge basically and lose as many tickets as you would from the drain while you're regrouping.
Yeah, it's just that's why I don't like playing conquest. I'd rather play contention or skirmish.
And contention. So I got a question because this is something I've thought about with the meta with contention is because contention doesn't have that bleed, and because the flag honestly lasts like quite a long time after the enemy captures it. Like,
7.5 minutes.
yeah, so there's really no rush to capture it a lot of times. Like, I
No.
feel like in the Steam chat, in my experience, people were like, "Oh, we need to charge it now," but in reality, it's kind of like you should just stand back and shoot them down if they're going to stand on the flag in the open,
Yeah.
and just maybe even just like more surround it and then move in, kind of thing.
Well, the thing is, as long as if you think you can hold the flag, you want to leave yourself enough time on that yellow timer to be able to lower it and then raise it again, but
Yeah.
not give yourself like too much time to the point where like you've been fighting over that flag for pretty much like 10-15 minutes.
Do you think there's any meta to like also not leave enough time for them to cap it back though? Like, do you think that'd be something in the future once people figure out like how much a charge and capturing it'll take, and they kind of wait till like maybe there's 3 minutes left and then they charge it?
Well, because you get 15 minutes on each flag, and once the yellow timer hits 0, if you still haven't fully capped it, like if you still haven't held it for 7.5 minutes, if the other team comes and lowers it, it automatically swaps the flag. It doesn't like they can't capture it anymore. It just means that nobody won that flag pretty much, and everyone fought for it for nothing. So yeah, I guess there is a meta of like, if you capture the flag after 7.5 minutes is left on the yellow timer, then unless you hold it, they're not going to be able to capture it either. So it's kind of like, you just got to think if it's worth the tickets to try and fight for it.
Yeah.
Mm. I mean, you certainly can't lose. Well, I don't know. No, that's fair. I was just trying to think that through in my mind, but no, that makes sense.
Were you about to say you can't lose like a full morale stage? in,
Yeah,
like, one
trying to
charge?
attack, but then I'm like, wait, if you try to attack an impossible point, and then you just lose all those tickets in that morale stage.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you can fight for the first one, and then you might go to engaged or close to engaged, and then all of a sudden you lose the point. You're now either at taking losses or close to taking losses, and then all of a sudden, if you lose the next point that you fight for, you'll be in breaking, and then that puts you straight in the last stand.
Does anybody know on contention like the boundaries as far as the enemy spawn goes? Like, can you go into the enemy spawn, or is it still out of bounds?
Yeah, it's still out of bounds, I believe, but I think you can get close to it because on most maps the spawn's just like in the open.
Because I'm wondering if you can get close enough, like if you do push them off the point that's next to their spawn, like you could just form a firing line and just shoot up their people as they're spawning, like before they can even get loads.
That'd be a heck of a strategy.
That is such a sussy strategy right there.
Tune in next time
Tune in next event.
to see a
When
Sussy
Memphis
Brigade.
takes on the Union team because they can't even spawn.
Hey, tune in next time for the destruction of Sausage Brigade. It's gonna happen. Give it a
Destruction.
Destruction. The only thing that can kill Sussy is Sussy itself, and that's the truth. Oh, come on, Teabag. Sorry,
No, you're good.
making tea.
I
British.
I guess, does anyone have any more thoughts on contention? I guess anything general before we move on to the next thing, or anyone have any more questions about it?
Nope.
God save contention.
Indeed. I need to broadcast more contention matches. I've only done one, and I think that was with you, Killer, and Corded.
Yeah, it
That
was.
that was a fun match.
No, it was. We had what's his name? The other guy from
And-
Second MS. Fooswall.
Oh, was Fusewall Jackson announcing with us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
okay.
that's when Bus was running around going Battleline Network. Reported
Indeed.
live.
That's the event where we got like the worst RNG ever. Like they got both the first points or whatever were on their side.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
second round, yeah. Was it?
It was
the Pubs
roulette
versus
lane. It
Regimentals.
was flaming
Yeah.
fence line.
Yeah, it was the
We
Pubs.
had that. We had that on Friday EU. So we had the one that's up by by the road on Roulette Lane, and then we had the one that's just in the road at Bloody Lane, and then the one after that was all the way back at the barn on Roulette Lane.
Yeah, that's
So
what
the
it was. You're
Union,
right, there
the
was-
Union had like no points on their side of the map the whole time. But then it worked in their favor on the second game, I guess. But just not the first one. That's just RNG, innit? I like the fact that they swapped the spawns around on some maps too.
Yeah.
It does make things nice and interesting and can change. I mean, it changes things up a little bit visually, but
Hit you spawn in, you're like, oh, where am I?
I guess the staunch Unionist or the staunch Confederate player might be like, "Whoa, what is this new spawn? Wow, a whole new world."
Someone blames the admins or something and is like, this is the admins against us.
I will say though, I play Union probably 95% of the time, and sometimes I'll spawn in on the CSA side and be completely confused where I'm at. Be like, "What is this?"
It's because, do you know why? It's because Union regiments don't balance enough. Because there's so many
Damn.
Isn't-
there's
there's
so many CSA that it's always CSA regiments playing Union every week. But Union regiments never play CSA.
What's the ratio between CSA and USA? Because I know, like, Maryland campaign, there's like how many Union CSA to Union?
I'll bring up
That's
the
a lot.
numbers from Sunday NA's numbers.
HGC has a lot of Union, right?
Yeah, they have literally all of the Union that we don't have.
Because
Mhm.
what? So did Sussy leave or did they get kicked out of HDC?
We left.
We
They
left.
say
Okay.
they kicked us out, but we left.
Okay.
I left HGC.
A lot of people have left HGC in recent weeks or months, I guess.
Didn't we leave because like we didn't like the idea that like they were losing on purpose in order to win on the game board or something?
Yeah.
I can
Hood is
see-
more fascinated about having the fucking tabletop mechanics go well than people actually having fun.
But they actually had to balance over Union guys to CSA this time around in the HGC.
Is 13th and HGC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Idiots.
It's like
I'm trying to think if there's any maps that I've never played Union on. Like
I've never
skirmish.
played Union on what's it called, River Crossing.
Okay,
Never-
so
what?
Never.
What? Of all the
What?
maps to not play Union, Rivers Crossing?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually every time I've been on that map, it's been an event, and I've always been CSA. So it's like
That's surprising.
never had a good time.
You gotta try it. It's fun.
So at Sunday NA's event, there was 115 max Union and 353 max CSA.
Holy crap! That's
Sounds about right.
And this is why Union regiments, on average, do worse playing CSA than they do as playing Union.
I beg to differ.
No, it just is. It just is.
No,
they
no,
don't
no,
play, they don't play CSA enough.
Trust me, Ninth Corps has a lot of success with playing CSA. It has had a lot of success, especially when we teamed up with Second Mississippi, I want to say. I believe.
But they're a CSA reg. I mean, they could also help you out there. I mean,
True, but still,
I-
we don't. We can be pretty. We can be pretty handy at because we're probably one of the best regiments. Well, arguably one of the best regiments charging in. We'll be the spearhead every time. We'll go in first, hit them hard, do as much damage, and let everyone else clean them up.
Zoo, zoo, zoo.
Zoo, zoo, zoo.
Indeed.
Exactly. When you're being attacked by 9th New York, and then immediately you're probably getting attacked by IVB, 20th New York, and a lot of other guys.
doesn't IVB usually lead the charge?
Both of
No,
us.
it's like a conglomerate of just rape.
What is
That's-
so wait? It's IVB, 9th Corps and 20th is RGD, right?
Oh,
RGG, yeah.
RGD, I want to say.
What is that even?
Right Grand Division.
right
Real
Grant?
gay dudes.
Right Grand Division.
Because
So there's the Left Grand Division and the Right Grand Division.
Basically, we are the soundboard division, the Grand Soundboard Division.
Actually, you're not a complete soundboard division without Liz from HD.
That's true.
Right. Lizzie's great.
I fucked your dad.
Now joining us, we have the glorious C. Murphy. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What is up, guys? I'm C. Murphy, Brigadier General of Sussy Brigade, actually the owner of this channel, and, I'm just that guy.
He is that guy.
What's up?
Owner of the channel.
So we've been talking about contention for a while. You have any thoughts or questions about it?
So, I've not even played Contention yet,
Wow.
right? It's like, how has this happened? I genuinely,
'Cause you
I know
don't
that they were
follow
making
rights,
fixes
so
to
far.
it because it
so
seemed
far.
kind of broken and completely luck-based at first. I don't know if it still is.
It's
So
not
my
as
question
bad.
is, how much better is it than Conquest, or is it
Way better.
way better?
Conquest ass.
I think it's better. I don't know about way better.
What makes it better?
Is ass.
There's
more
not
points.
like when you start losing, you're not completely fucked.
Yeah.
Whereas in Conquest, when
Just
you
because the
start
points keep moving gives you a chance.
yeah, and it's just the way that the ticket system works. That it's instead of a bleed, it's just like a one hit. I mean, it's a big hit, but at least it's you have a chance to take it back, and you can get around it sort of.
Yeah.
Whereas in Conquest, once those flags are up, you take that hit. You have to take another hit to get it down because you have to attack it. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's rough.
I guess another thing we forgot to mention about Conquest is that people can win it within 40 seconds.
Oh god, that has
Capping a
happened.
3-point. How
That
often
has
has that happened? I know I saw it
I
happen
think-
once.
I think I've done
I
it
know the
twice.
Battleline Network has a video of it, don't
Yeah,
they? World
I
record.
remember that.
I think I've done it like twice.
I think it was like an A tier brigade or something that did that.
I honestly, if you lose the game within 40 seconds, you deserve to lose.
In AGF Brigade. Sorry. Oh, that one just got me.
Um,
Oh,
Wow.
Jesus.
yeah, no, there's no way you can win that fast in contention. What's the quickest a game of contention could go?
Ooh.
Probably what, 21 minutes? I mean, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
If you can bleed them enough.
Yeah, like
30 minutes.
15. No, I wouldn't say
30
30.
is too
No,
long.
I'd
That's
say-
way too
I'd
much.
say
because
bet-
No, because you
20
have to
to
cap
minutes.
it.
half is
Well,
7 minutes.
hold on, wait.
Yeah.
7, 14, 21,
15 minutes.
22.
Yeah, but you
and
can
a
also
half.
kill them during that time. Don't forget about that. You can still
25.
bleed
It's 20. It's 25 minutes, right? Because you cap 3 times. You knock them down with morale by fire once. That's 4. That's last stand, and then the last flag is only 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, yeah, but if you think though, how much can you take a whole morale level down in 7.5 minutes just by shooting and
Yeah, but
mailing?
after 21
Yeah.
minutes of fighting, you would have knocked down a
No,
flag.
but
I
Definitely
can
do
see
it
it.
twice though over 2
Yeah.
different
But-
points.
yeah, if you capture the point and hold it for 7.5 minutes, you take them down a morale level, so from battle ready to engaged. But if you killed almost a whole morale level in 7.5 minutes, which is very possible, you could almost have them to take losses. after 7.5 minutes,
And do the same thing again.
and then you
The
do the
next
same
one.
thing again. So 15 to 20 minutes is probably the quickest it could go if you are aggressive enough and held the point.
And also, if they were not good enough to simply charge off a point.
Yeah.
So you go down to home morale stage when the team fully caps. So if you're at the beginning of breaking or at the end of breaking, you automatically just go to last stand. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
It's just death.
Last
It's just
stand.
death. Yeah. I hate last stand.
You don't like last stand?
I hate last stand.
What's
Oh,
wrong
it's
with last
annoying.
stand? Oh, I guess are you
You're gonna
comparing
lose.
it to final push in skirmish?
I always see I feel like the other team, right, should go to I think on conquest and contention, I think you should have the option to change it to final push and not last stand. Can you imagine having a final push instead of a last stand on contention or conquest?
How would that
Yeah, I
how
think
would
that
that
would be
work?
good.
I
Having
don't
attack
even
the
know.
point.
You
Both teams would just be a final push, just charging each
infinitely.
other out repeatedly for like 3 minutes.
Oh,
They
you're
just
saying
involve,
when a team gets final push, they only get a certain number of minutes to
Well, that's
win
what they
again.
get in normal skirmish. They get a little timer.
Well, they have a certain amount of minutes to do what? Just take a point and then.
Well, yeah, either take the point or I don't know.
There's just no way to win at that point.
It would just be draws endlessly.
Just hold the point. That's
It's
it.
that simple.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
it. Just hold the point.
Makes sense.
I wish there was a game like Contention. I don't this kind of but like teams fight over a middle point and let's say team 1 wins. And so that middle point is deactivated and then the point closer to team 2 spawn is then activated and then both teams fight over that. And if team 2 wins, then it gets shifts back to the middle. So it's kind of like a trench warfare style thing, more linear than
Like hell let loose.
yeah.
Kind of.
I
Yeah,
think
I
I think that'd be fun.
That
Yeah, I
would
feel
be
like
fun.
that should be how contention should be played. That way it's a little bit more even, fair. There's not as much RNG.
Yeah.
So you got like contention is like the warfare game mode where it's like every point for point. Where conquest is one team is solely defending, the other team is solely attacking the whole time. I think that would work.
Wish there were. I know it's probably ahistorical. I wish there were more like attack defend maps. Sorry, in the sense of like forts. I know there's like Boulevard Heights,
mean,
Camp and
this is-
Redoubt, but
Yeah, but what you're saying is something that like people could create if they bring out the map editor, and like you're allowed to like create your own maps and you can like basically create your own like fun events where like the points are lined up one behind the other and you've got to take the point before it before you can take the point after it kind of thing, and both teams are like contesting for it and shit. Yeah, all that stuff. It's just kind of
You know what I
Wait.
think needs to happen first,
yeah.
Killer?
what?
I think we need to start playing the game modes that we have, and not just skirmish. I think that would be a good start.
I have said I'll play skirmish or contention, but
You
Conquest.
support
We won't play
Conquest?
Conquest.
Do you like Conquest?
conquest sucks ass.
Did Sussy? Did we just knock it out of you too many times?
No, I think the last time I played conquest, I was with Sussy.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you could say you did. You just put me off it, but no, it's like I just don't like conquest. It's just a dull game mode.
I agree.
I've already explained it on this podcast already, so
Let's
watch
just
the first
repeat
10
it.
minutes when you were late.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of map maker, I wonder how the devs will go about maps being released to the public. Like, will they have to approve maps to be on public servers, or if you make a map, you can do it on a private server? I wonder how all that'll work.
This is
Well,
like,
as a certified war of rights moderator, and in close trust with the devs, I can't say anything.
I was gonna say, this is a public service announcement. Trusty, if you want to join next week's podcast, sign up for the Flatline Network Discord. Can you imagine if he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Like,
Jesus Christ, you get the.
and then we'll get someone who like absolutely hates the developers to get on here, and then
LaBelle.
LaBelle,
Yeah,
Beacon.
LaBelle. Yeah, Beakoff, Cyrus.
Saris, nah, he loves the devs.
Who doesn't like the devs?
They broke his heart, according to him.
Aw.
He'll come back.
He probably will. You make first
He'll
Texas.
join one of the 5 First Texas regiments that have been formed.
No, I
Just
think
be
he'll
like-
make a sixth. He'll make a sixth.
He'll just make another one.
Yeah.
So let's transition here. We've been talking about flags this whole time, so let's continue. Let's talk about flag meta as a whole. So, what do we think flag bearers should do in certain situations? Like, let's say your regiment's just like shooting, where should it stand? Charging wise, when your regiment charges, where should it be? What are you guys' thoughts on what flags should be doing in game?
I've got
Um,
the best. I have the best flag bearer in War of Rights.
no
Yes,
shot.
That's a
We have
lie.
snap.
That's
We have
a
snap
lie.
kills.
I do. Now,
Well, let's be honest, it doesn't take
on,
much.
on average,
Since you
my
got
flag goes
Yeah.
a whole game without being killed. Okay.
That means he's not good, all right?
real
No,
quick, since
it
you got
means-
Murphy here, I'm gonna take off.
All right. Have a good night.
Zoo,
Zoo.
zoo,
Have a good one, boys.
Zoo, zoo, zoo.
Zoo, zoo, zoo.
zoo, zoo, zoo.
Fuck Fifth Florida. I'm alright.
Love those guys.
But
They're not, anyway.
yeah.
Not homo.
But
No, I would
this-
say for a charge, obviously the flag shouldn't be in the front. I'll say that. But for all you new flag bearers out there, don't charge in front of your regiment.
What are
Yeah,
you talking
sometimes-
about? You should be front and center, in front of the line.
Oh yeah, like when people are shooting, yeah, the flag just stays behind the line but keeps moving. Don't stand still. Don't make yourself that pinpoint, because if the flag just stands behind a group of guys, then that group is going to get shredded the whole time. That's why the flag has to keep moving.
Wouldn't you want the flag to like stand off to the side of your line, just on the
If
edge of
it's-
information
If it's
skirmishing?
possible to do that, or if there's like a tree that's close enough behind your line that they can kind of hide behind, but still be in formation, then that's also ideal.
Thing is,
But
though, if you're
really-
in a cornfield, right, and your flag is running left to right behind your line, all he's doing is showing the guys opposite you how long your line is.
Well, I mean, if you're in a cornfield, that's a different situation. Honestly, if
Not
I'm
even,
attacking
like,
in a
if you're
cornfield,
behind If you're
I'm not
behind a
even
hill
putting my
or
flag
like,
in there.
if you're in a defilade and we can see the top of the flag, it's just like that's why my flag will just try and always stay still, just stay on the side of a line, and that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he's not in sight of the other team to the point where they could just drop him easily, then standing still is not a bad option. But I'm referring to, like, if you're on a field, shooting across at the other group, I wouldn't have him stand still, because he's just going to they're always going to target the flag, At least we always do. So
Dodge it.
he'll dodge it. Yeah, he'll use the
Yeah.
pole to, like, just hit it like a baseball.
Whack the bullets away.
Whack the bullets like a lightsaber.
Yeah. Jesus. I wish flags had more use.
I wish they could fight.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
But they said flagpoles, they were like 40 pounds, way too heavy to be swinging around. And then if you have to drop the flag to pull out a
Yeah.
sword or something, it's just
Didn't the devs say that they were never going to do anything with flag bearers being able to fight?
yeah,
Like,
they're not good. It just takes away from all the things we were just talking about, like focusing on positioning and whatnot. Like if you're worried about fighting, that's how
I
they
mean,
kind of
most of the time, flag bearer wouldn't have to worry about fighting because they would only be fighting
Right.
in melee.
He'd run
no,
away.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or at least he should be.
But maybe the flag can walk up to people and just kind of like with both hands, just kind of knock them over and keep running. Imagine that.
It's like the freaking
Imagine the
candy
flag
canes they
knock
had.
people.
Yeah, I think he should be able to defend himself. Like when he's running, he whacks one of them in the noggin and then just runs off.
We're not even like swing at him. He's holding it with both hands and just kind of
pushes
like
it.
bunts him with him. Yeah, just
Yeah.
knocks him down.
Knocks him. Yeah, because
Hilarious.
knocking people over is a thing in War of Rights now. So the flag bearer should be able to use that 40 pounds and just
If
welly the guy over.
Just run into him. Yeah,
if a
that'd be
candy
so
cane
funny.
can knock a person over, so should a flag.
Maybe that's why they had that huge candy cane design to to test that. That would be interesting.
Testing flags and knocking
Yeah,
people.
it was really like they just changed the animation for the flag. Let's see if we knock people down with this. Just how overpowered it is.
You just start using flags and charging
People will
them.
just they send flags.
Them as
I want
battering
you to
rams.
flank around the back and just start knocking them all down. That would be great. I would use it.
What was that?
What was that?
Somebody
Sorry,
just,
that's
like,
my
fall over.
cinnamon bell.
It sounds like you're about to start saying a speech.
Yeah.
Oh, here. I do so declare that 5th NC is better than A and V.
And you just
They're
got
on the
raised.
same tier
Yes.
though.
Fair enough.
Not when you come back, they're not.
I know. I could not believe that you were just. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're
After all
fine.
we've been through, Taylor.
Yeah, we're not talking about the video.
After all we've been through.
The video
The
that
video
never happened.
That shall
What
not be
video?
named. It's like Voldemort all over again.
But yeah, hey, if you're in the corn with a flag, let's talk about this, right?
Yeah.
You know where the enemy team is. You think they might know, they have an idea where you're going to come from. You send your flag off to the side, right? Divert their attention. That's an easy little strat right there.
I feel like that's high risk, high reward.
Yeah, because if your flag goes down, the flag's the
I
only
mean, it doesn't really
thing.
matter because, they see the flag. It might go down, but then your whole team just hits them and wipes them all out, They don't really know where you're coming from. If they all get distracted by it, and then you just, Leroy Jenkins up in there.
Leroy
what-
Jenkins.
We're eventually going to get a point where all the flag bearers on Miller's Cornfield are just standing by each other in some random corner and all the fighting's happening.
Well,
on
that's
the
what I
other side.
mean. In Miller's Cornfield, I'll leave the flag and like a few guys on the fence. And if you have a main force, you just go in there
Well,
and
CSA,
try to get those
flag.
tickets.
I just met up in one corner, like just on point, chilling, talking to each other, while everyone else is running around the corner fighting.
No, exactly. Yeah. The flags don't really have to do too much.
Some guy spawns on flag. He's like, "Whoa!" All right, just runs away. He's like, "See that, lads?
Well, yeah, you'd have to establish something there,
Don't kill the flag."
Don't kill the flag. Don't just run away,
I do like that the flag can now see when there's people spawning on them, though. So that's like you could
I
stay
forgot about that.
skirmishing until you see somebody starts to spawn on you. You can run over.
Right?
True.
I forgot about that.
That is
And I also
true.
like flags can't go in buildings anymore. That's also nice.
What?
Yeah,
Aw.
they can't go in
It's
buildings.
funny. It's funny.
If you take a flag in a building, you have the outer line timer, and it'll kill you.
Oh yeah,
Can't-
that was a godsend.
Can't you
And people
spawn people on
can't
roofs?
spawn on them.
I've seen people go in buildings with a flag and not get the timer, so it's kind of confusing.
Hackers
Yeah,
and
there's
War
like
of Rights.
certain- like on Auto Sherrick, the flag bearers can get in that very bottom little tiny basement, but they can't get in the basement or like anywhere else in the house. But you know that little tiny room on the very bottom, like down those like little stairs.
I know exactly, like a little like wine cellar.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like a random little
that's evil.
tiny square. This flag can get in there. That's it.
I mean, I kind of like the glory days of the bomb rush, the house on Auto and share it, cram how many flags in that house, and just have how many people spawning in. Holy crap!
Bro, I hate Auto and Sherrick. Like the tub.
What do you mean?
Everyone always goes to the tub. I hate the tub.
The poor tub. Now Union doesn't use that strategy anymore, right? They don't bomb rush house as much anymore as they used to.
They can't get their flag in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue.
Auto and Sherrick Farm is like done for. You can get some skirms in the house, but they just get cleared out ASAP.
Seems like it would make it a very CSA bias map.
Honestly, I played it as Union, and we only won just by the skin of our teeth. And then I played it as CSA that same weekend, and we won it as well.
Oh, you must be a professional.
I have
He's-
ATS.
That's why they're
Exactly.
A-tier. That's why
It
they're.
comes down to
That's
skill.
why they're a certain tier on a certain video that will not be named.
Yeah, it's on
A video
Pixelated
that doesn't
Apollo.
exist.
He was
Yeah,
A-tier?
it's on Pixelated Apollo's YouTube channel. Yeah, I was ATS.
You were A-tier? Okay. I can
Yeah.
see that.
And I didn't have a say in my ATS in this, by the way.
McPhail is just like, oh shit.
He's had enough.
He's on a
Yeah.
he's on a trip. He's on his phone right now, so he's probably got more important things to do.
What could be more important than discussing these matters?
The glories
You
of
heard
rolling
he's a
dice.
And listen, hey, I want to say this too. Like, I know I've been gone. All right, I'm in the mountains. I'm homeless right now. I don't have a PC, but I'll be back. All right.
Yeah,
So y'all
we're
don't,
back.
don't. Yeah, I swear. So this isn't the end of C Murphy.
Every 5th Ed C member is gonna be sat there like, damn, does that mean we're going back to B tier again?
That's not even right, bro.
Bennett Murphy
When you
comes
said
back.
that, I laughed so hard. I'm like, I hate. I can't say anything right now.
Bro,
I think that you guys couldn't hear me for the longest time there.
you
Yep.
are correct.
No, that's a darn shame.
McPhail's just like talking to
I think
himself
that
in
I
his
got-
vehicle.
He was just
Well, yeah,
going
I was like-
off.
I was about to say, like, Auto and Sherrick, I think is the. I don't think we've ever played Sussy as Union on Auto and Sherrick, have we?
No,
You get railroaded.
Yeah.
I mean we've played it like with the 5th NC, but not with Sussy.
I don't think I've ever played Union on that. Maybe in like a pub game, but not a.
Not for an
Maybe
event.
otherwise.
Maybe I'm thinking of like a UEC event.
Ooh.
Sussy and UEC.
Sassy.
No, there was a time back long ago where 5th NC was in UEC, but then we're like, you know what? We're way too good for this, so we left.
You're way too American for this
I was
game.
gonna say
though.
they were way too hood rat and American for it. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm like, this, yeah, this just takes.
Yeah, we
so
did
much.
it.
I love UEC. Love you.
Speaking of that,
Are we done talking about the flags now, or?
no, we're gonna keep talking to him just for you. Is there anything you wanted to mention, McPhail, about flags, seeing as you were like muted the whole time?
Yeah, big fail. Gosh.
All I would say is that they're super important on Conquest and Contention because it's a bigger map. So I think that they're underrated. Like when they go down, people were just like, oh, it's no big deal. And then when you have an enemy's flag down, they're like, oh, it's no big deal. Let's not guard it. But it's like you can affect, like on Conquest, for example, they cannot win without the flags. So if you just keep their flags down, they can't win, you know? So just guard their flags. They can't capture points. You don't even have to guard the points.
Yeah, that's true.
Smart man.
That is one thing. Is kind of similar. Is when people will go to cap points on conquest or contention, they'll just like surround the flag around the pole, and then get shredded by the enemy team that's trying to hold the point. Like guys will run up to the cap, and their whole team will just sit on the flag when it's being raised, and I hate seeing that every single time.
I get it sometimes.
I do too. A couple guys there would be nice, right? Just to make sure that the flag gets shot and get up. But your whole team, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely not. The whole team is balling up around it. That's not the move. But McPhail's right about that. Like when you see, especially when it's like a full server, let's say you have like regiments of 50 guys, it's even more important than taking out somebody's flag and holding it because they're going to be in disarray for however long it takes for them to get that flag back and get everyone reassembled. It'll be really easy to kind of take advantage of that. So with bigger servers, getting the flags down and losing your flag is a way bigger deal. At least
In a
my
way,
opinion.
too, do you think it helps you like predict where they're going to charge to? Because like if they lose their flag, for instance, on like your left flank, if they're going to charge in, they're probably going to charge that same flank to try and get their flag back.
I don't waste tickets getting a flag.
No, I'd say they're
I
probably
just
going
wait
to.
for it to despawn. It only takes like a
Depends
couple
on the
minutes.
officer.
It definitely does, right? I would only send like a handful of guys to get the flag back, or if it was a point of like that we had to go for. If it's conquest, typically it's the middle point. Say you lose the flag there, you get another attack going with the rest of your team, and if it makes sense to grab it, then you grab it, but you don't just.
Oh,
run
yeah,
after
well, yeah.
Do you
If
think
it's at a point of contention, yeah. But if it's just like sat in the middle of the field next to an enemy line, then no, they can keep
right?
the
Then
flag.
yeah, they just leave it.
think it's do you think it's better to try to win the point of contention then cap, or try to cap while trying to win the point for either of the two game modes? Most of the time I see people trying to decap and cap when trying to retake a point.
If all of
Decapping.
your attention is on decapping, like you said, that comes to like everyone runs out in the middle of the field. Let's say we're talking about conquest or contention, and then that's when you're going to get shredded. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. I would focus on taking out whoever's keeping you from doing it.
If it's
And, you know,
conquest, every second that they control the point, you're losing tickets. So yeah, I would say decapping as soon as possible is probably the best thing. Whereas with contention, you can see how long you have left before the other team is gonna capture the point. So like, if it's like 3/4 of the way, then you got a minute and 45 seconds left, kind of thing. So you roughly have an idea on, oh well, I guess we can fight first and cap the point later because it only takes 30 seconds to lower the flag. All that itty bitty stuff.
yeah, that's good.
Murphy, if you saw where I am right now,
Where are you?
I'm in Nauvoo.
Where? What?
Do you know where that is? Do you know what it is?
No,
Okay. Maybe you're not Mormon then.
bro. I don't know why my regiment thinks that I'm Mormon.
It must be
Is
true.
that why you stopped turning up?
That's what it is. Yeah, I'm actually in the Mormon church getting my training done right now to be an acolyte or whatever they call their people.
I heard you have a girlfriend now.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's
What do
that
you think
going?
about that?
I mean, I wouldn't publicly state my outcry on the podcast.
All right, that's enough about that. It's enough.
So we're getting to that hour mark. So I guess does anyone have any last comments or thoughts on contention, conquest, flag meta, things that flags should have that they don't have? Any other thoughts?
Contention is better than conquest. That's it.
So
I would say that anything at this point is better than skirmish. All right, that's my closing statement.
I wouldn't say that.
I would not
The
say
drill
that.
camp.
I would 100% say that. I would say that.
I
day long.
would not take conquest over skirmish at this point.
I think
What
I
about
still
tickets
would,
patrol?
just because it's not as linear sometimes.
Pig Patrol's the best game mode. We all know
No,
that.
drill camp is.
Oh god.
We should do a drill camp event sometime just as a meme, like April Fool's Day or something.
April Fool. Who are we fooling ourselves?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, but Pig
Well,
Patrol
You
is
just
on
turn
the
the
drill
team
camp
kills
now.
on, and then
Yeah, we need to do a full server picket patrol for April Fools. We will all feel like fools.
What day is April Fools? That is-
April
April
1st.
first.
April
Think-
1st.
think- Okay. Okay.
You fool!
Okay. We're ending it here. Anyways.
It's a Saturday, if that's
Is
what
it?
you're asking.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's a Saturday. All right, cool. So, yeah, with that being said, thank you all for watching a possibly little less controversial podcast. Next week, we'll rank the events that are. No, we won't do that. But
I
yeah.
think we should. That would be a lot
we
more
will
fun.
we will do things like this in time. However, for now, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe for more. Discord and Patreon is in the description. You can also listen to this on Spotify. But yeah, have a wonderful rest of the day, night, whatever your time is. And yeah, see you later.